Christmas at ground zero. There's music in the air.
Hello and welcome back to I Helped Make That. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, but now we're going into the Christmas time. So, for today, we will be talking about two holiday movies made by the same guy, John Hughes, as we are talking about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which is set during Thanksgiving, and Home Alone, which, as I'm sure we all know, is set during Christmas.
Wow. I'm in both of those. I didn't know that. Didn't realize that until just now.
Yeah. Yes, and we're going to be talking about it with Larry Hankin, who you might remember was on the show a few months ago to talk about Breaking Bad. But what we're really doing on the show is just talking about what it's like to work with John Hughes in general and the impact his work has had on others. Welcome back, Larry.
Well, I'm glad to be back. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. But before we get started, we have to get the anchor ad out of the way. So, as I'm sure we remember from last time, Larry said he might want to start a podcast. Is that still something you're considering, Larry?
Yeah, I'm always considering it. I haven't. That's the extent of it. I'm considering it. I got like a couple of things that I'm doing that I can't. That I got to get finished before I do a podcast. It would be nice to do if I could pre-record it. Like do about 12 in a week, and then just put them on once a week for 12 weeks. Something like that. That's what I'm talking about. Not like being on the air every week. I don't think I could do that. My schedule. I got books to write. I got films to make. But a podcast, yeah, I'm thinking about it.
All right. Well, if you ever do start it, do you remember how you could start it on Anchor?
No, I haven't gone that far. I've just put it out there that maybe just on your show. No, nobody's ever asked me about that. So I only think I mentioned it on your show the last time. So yeah, it hasn't gone any further than your show the last time.
Yeah. Well, if you want to use Anchor to start it, if you ever decide to start it, it's the easiest podcasting platform to use. All you do is sign up for an account. Then basically you can record and post on Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Does it cost any money to do that?
No, it's completely free.
Wow. Holy cow. Oh, well, okay. I've done the second part now. I'm considering Anchor.
Yeah. It just goes on all those platforms. So if you want to create your own podcast, try Anchor today.
Okay.
All right. Now, Larry, the first movie, at least from what I could find, correct me if I'm wrong on this, that you did with John Hughes was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Now, did you know John Hughes before making that movie?
No, pretty much. I didn't even know that was my first John Hughes movies. I didn't know that until you just told me that. Yeah, I don't think about the parts that I do until maybe a week before I do it, and then once I do it, I dump it. So I don't follow me. So I didn't even know I wasn't aware consciously. I kind of knew it if you asked me about it, that I did those two John Hughes movies that were holiday movies, and they're classics. Both of them are classics. That's unbelievable. I mean,
Mhm.
I didn't even know that really until just now, just until talking to you. But it's interesting. It really is. And like I say, I knew that I was in those movies separately, but not together, and that they were so famous. There's one of them, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, is coming out with an anniversary Blu-ray right now. Isn't that right? Do you know about that?
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that.
Well, me too, just a little. So I'm trying to get a hold of it. I don't have a Blu-ray, a
Mhm.
screener, so I don't know how to play it. And also, Escape from Alcatraz is coming out with an anniversary Blu-ray at the same time, right around now. I just got it in the mail, but
Mhm.
I don't have a screener, and I'm on both of those screeners. The Blu-ray. I'm on a separate thing, and on on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, they have a separate Doobie film short on it
Mhm.
that me and uh, John Candy and Steve Martin are in. So that's really great that I'm in this extra added attraction to the Blu-ray on both of them, on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Escape from Alcatraz. And Escape from Alcatraz, it's an interview that I did about how I got
Right.
the job. That's really weird. I mean, I'm finding out about this through podcasts, through doing podcasts, and the
Mhm.
podcasters tell me this.
Okay. Well, just to focus first
Okay.
on planes, trains, and automobiles. So it sounds like if there's a separate Doobie short,
Yeah.
then there were more. I'm guessing there were. It's either going to be outtakes or more lines that weren't in the movie.
Oh, and no, what he did was we didn't know what he was doing. John, wait a minute, John Candy and Steve Martin and I
Hmm.
didn't know what John Hughes was doing when
Hmm.
he was shooting our scene that was in the movie on a soundstage. He just kept on shooting, and then he had us improvise.
Hmm.
And the scene that's in the movie of me driving them to the motel as Doobie, that scene is 3 pages long, which takes about 2.5 to 3 minutes of screen time. That scene is in the movie. It's about 2.5 to 3 minutes of screen time in the movie. However, the shooting of that, which should have taken maybe 2 hours to 3 hours to shoot, very
Hmm.
simple scene. Um, that that filming of that took an entire day, 8 hours. And we didn't know why it was taking so long and why he was having us improvise. He kept on saying, do it again, only improvise it. No, you improvise it. Now you improvise it. Now all three of you improvise it. And he kept on doing this the whole day. And we didn't know what was going on. And then and then the movie came out. I figured, wow, this is going to be a long scene.
Hmm.
I watched the movie, and it's no, the original 3 page scene that's in the script. So I'm thinking, what was all that entire day of improvising new things and new ways of saying stuff? And then about a year later, I see Chris Columbus, who did uh, Home
Um.
Alone. Home Alone, yeah. So I saw Chris Columbus in a restaurant, and he calls me over. I mean, I was in my booth, he was in his booth. I hear my name. Hey, Larry. I go over. It's Chris Columbus. He says, "Oh, how you doing? Just want you to meet my family." And his son, his wife. And then I go, and then he says, "I saw the movie. It's really great." And I go, "Yeah, well, I saw it too. It's pretty cool. Where did you see it?" And I said, and he said, "At his house, at John Hughes' house, for his birthday. He showed that movie." And I'm going, he has a place in his house to screen an entire hour-and-a-half movie. And Chris Columbus says, "No, no, no, not the movie, not the feature. No, the film short." And I go, "What film short?" And he goes, "The film short that John Hughes shot while he was shooting Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. Your scene. He made a film short out of it, a 10-minute film short. He did? I go, yeah. So I said, well, where is it? And he said, well, I saw it at his house, but John had died. He passed on by then, at that time. So I said, where can I see it? And he said, I don't know. He just showed it at his birthday party, at his last birthday party. I've never seen it again, and I don't know anybody else except the people who are at the birthday party who know about it. So I forgot about it, and now this screener comes out, this Trains, Planes, and Automobiles Blu-ray comes out this week, I guess. And people are saying, hey, you're on it. I go, I am. What am I doing? I'm in the movie. I know I'm on it. He says, no. The film short is on it also. So I haven't seen it. You're the first person who's asked me about it. And this is the first time I'm talking about it because I only learned about it 2 days ago.
Mhm.
So there's this film short that John Hughes shot on Warner Brothers Dime, or whoever the production company was.
It was Paramount.
Oh, Paramount. He shot it on their dime. It was supposed to be, a 2-hour shoot. And he just kept shooting the entire day. We broke for lunch.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it. It must be. But I hear from people who have seen it. They say it's really funny. So, yeah. I mean, hey, John Candy and Steve Martin are hysterical people. Steve Martin has never been an improviser. John Candy comes from Second City. I come from Second City. So we're into improvising, and John Hughes knew that. So, he said, okay, we're going to improvise for a little while. It was the rest of the day. But he said, we're going to improvise now. And I said, fine. And John said, fine. And Steve said, fine. So I thought, no, Steve doesn't know how to improvise. We're going to walk all over him. Ha! Oh, Steve Martin was funnier than the both of us put together. I mean, he was amazing. I gotta say, I mean, that's where I found out. And then I've been watching, other things that he's done since then, Steve Martin.
Yeah,
He's
like Only
amazing.
Murders in the Building.
Yeah, and he's amazing. That guy can do anything. He's a great actor. I mean, a serious actor. He's done a lot of movies where he's just, like rom-com movies and stuff like that. But what he did in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles is miraculous, Steve. What Steve did in the feature, and so did John. I mean, I think it's one of the best buddy movies ever made. I mean, I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah, and I think what works about it and what cannot work about other buddy movies is that in many other buddy movies, the obnoxious, annoying character is too obnoxious and
Right.
too
Yeah.
annoying.
Right.
That, when the straight man learns that he's not so bad after all and they become friends at the end, it can fall flat.
Right.
Like your quote unquote buddy, because I know you actually didn't have that good of an experience with him. We won't get into that. You can listen to other podcasts for that. Adam Sandler has made a few movies where I felt that was the way. But I
Well,
think,
yeah. But here, let me just say one thing about Adam.
yeah.
He's really a good straight actor. He's done a lot of straight roles for other people, not his production company. And he's really good. He's pulled off some really cool scenes straight. But yeah, when he does his movies, well, he's starting to calm down now. But yeah, he's always over the top. I can't watch his movies.
Right.
But when he is in somebody else's movie, like
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems, brilliant. He's really great. And I don't like him. I mean, I don't like him as a person, and I don't like him when he's funny. But man, he is a really good actor. I got to give it to him. So yeah, but we don't have to talk about him anymore. But yeah. And Steve Martin has got that. Some Jerry Lewis is the same thing. Some really funny actors, some, not all, are really good straight actors. And I don't know why that is. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good as a straight actor, but I don't like to memorize the lines. It's very
Mhm.
difficult. I have dyslexia,
Yeah,
so I got to shy away from those.
yeah, I know. I was just, using Adam as an example because I was just saying in general, the buddy movie can have that problem where the obnoxious character becomes too obnoxious. But I think what works here is that Dell is actually a likable character.
Oh yeah, John does a great. Because I was thinking the same thing when I was watching a coming attraction. Somebody sent me a coming attraction of the Blu-ray
Mhm,
on the internet, and I was watching John Candy working with Steve, like when they're on the plane,
mhm,
and I'm thinking, John is pushing it. John Candy is pushing it, and Steve isn't. Steve is fucking right on, man. He is so there. And John is pushing a little, but because Steve is massaging the scene into reality, you don't
mhm,
mind John. You don't mind John being just a little, because John can't help it. Yeah, I mean, he's just a he's just a funny guy.
mhm.
But he holds it back. You know, he holds it back, and they do a great job. They
Yeah,
really do
yeah,
together.
they do a great job at balancing,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Dell's obnoxiousness and Dell's nicer side,
right.
rather than just, say, many buddy movies, there where the characters just
Dumb and Dumber. Now there, I think it might work because they're both so over the top.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah, but in this the balance is wonderful. I mean,
Mhm.
those two guys working together. I just want to see more movies with them too. No, well, now it's too late. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and I think also, even though John is unfortunately no longer with us, whenever
Yeah.
Martin Short teams up with Steve, I think they have a similar, like,
Oh,
wonderful
I haven't
dynamic.
seen the. Yeah, I wondered about that. Yeah, can Steve tamp down um, his fellow actor there in that one, the apartment house thing?
Yeah, he
It
can,
works.
though sometimes Selena Gomez, who's like the third wheel, she
Yeah,
also has to tamper down him a bit. But Martin Short's definitely the most over the top of
yeah. I
the
mean, yeah. He's good when he gets it right.
Mhm.
He's brilliant, but 90% of the time it's just too much. Too much. Take it down a notch. Let's yeah, take it down a notch.
Alri
But yeah,
alright, but, yeah, and another thing, just about planes, trains, and automobiles is, just that, you know, besides just getting sort of the obnoxious to likable balance right,
yeah.
it's just a very funny movie.
Oh man, the writing is great. I mean, John Hughes is a great writer, not only a great director, a movie director, but
Mhm,
yeah, he's one of the better, probably the best writers of screenplays that I know of. When he's a good director, like Breakfast Club and 16
mhm,
Candles, really great. Then he started to lose it a little with She's Having a Baby. But again, his scripts are right. Man, he knows how to write a funny movie. Let me tell you, like in Trains, Planes, and Automobiles, when they get to the motel and they're in bed, that's not a pillow. I mean, that scene is amazing. There's another one or two scenes which, just taken as scenes, you can't get any better construction or characterizations or where the camera is. I mean,
mhm.
somehow John Hughes. He's an amazing guy, man. He's passed on now, but yeah, he's
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason, the whole "you're fucked" scene has just become such the meme that it has.
And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. And I really didn't care to fucking walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here to have you smile at my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now.
Yeah, I see your rental agreement.
I threw it away.
Oh, boy,
Oh boy, what?
you're fucked.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other scenes like that where it's
Mhm.
just perfect, you know, perfect.
Yeah. And now, before we get to Home Alone, I
Okay.
guess we should talk a little bit about She's Having a Baby. Now, you had a slightly larger role there, right?
Yeah, but nothing about them. Well, I think here's what, because I had a I had an opinion about the movie while we were doing the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. I got that sense, and John was a different John Hughes than Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. It was just a different vibe. It was too serious, and John Hughes is too serious. And I think the reason was because it was really right out of his life. He was writing a lot. I don't know this for true. This is my objective, what I was feeling on the set, that it was a marriage that was going to work or might not work because of this other person coming into it. And I think that John Hughes, being so honest a writer and director, that the honesty was a little too close to him. It was a little too real.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bothering him. I always wanted to go up to him and say, "Hey, is this bothering you?" I mean, I really did. I wanted to, because he seemed to be not there, but not there. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Somebody got fired on the set. I don't know why, but that never happened. That's rare that anybody gets fired on the set, especially the crew. It was a crew, not an actor. So and nobody knew why. The guy's name I think was John, an AD who got fired. And I asked around. I said, "What happened to John? He's a really good guy, and he was helping me out." I said, "What happened?" He said, "No, he got fired." Why? He was like really cool. He wasn't doing anything wrong. I was talking to him. He said, "No, John Hughes just came in one day and said, fired John." So he
Wow.
was, and I couldn't find out why. I asked this stuff. Nobody knew. But so there was a difference in the way John was directing that movie, because I think it was so personal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other funnier, really funny movies. And there's not too much. And my character wasn't that funny. He was just sidekick kind of guy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then that leads to Home Alone, which John did not direct. He just wrote, while Chris Columbus was the director.
Right. Now,
Now,
okay, go ahead.
even though Columbus was the director, was Hughes on the set the day you were there?
No, he wasn't there at all, but John Hughes recommended me for the part
Mm-hmm.
of Sergeant Balzac because um, Daniel Stern wanted more money. They started shooting. I wasn't involved in that movie at all, Home Alone, at first.
Mm-hmm.
They shot the movie, they hired the movie, Daniel Stern, Joe Pesci. And then 3 days into the movie, Daniel Stern wanted more money
Mm-hmm.
because Joe Pesci was getting more money. So since they were co-stars, again, buddies, he wanted the same money as Joe Pesci. Ha! Daniel, come on. That's what I thought. I mean, Joe Pesci is an icon. So um, my agent got a call saying, from the producers of Home Alone, saying, "Daniel Stearns wants more money. We don't want to give him more money. So he's threatening to quit. So we're going to let him quit if he doesn't shut up and stop asking for money. And if he does quit, we're going to have to replace them." And we called, and Chris Columbus called John Hughes about it. saying, "Hey, man, what are we going to do? You know, this is your movie, kind of. You don't want to do anything that you wouldn't want. So who should we replace Daniel Stern with?" And John Hughes said, "Larry Hankin." So they called my agent and said, you know, is Larry free? Can he do that? Will he do that? So my agent called me and said, "Hey, they want you to do Home Alone because of this Daniel Stern thing." So I said, "Well, you know, what's the part? I mean, I don't under. Well, no, for Daniel Stern, yeah, sure. To work with Joe Pesci, no, there was no question in my mind. I don't care about the money. I'll do it for free, just to work with John Hughes and Joe Pesci." So I said, "Yeah, that's fine." So he said, "Okay, then they're going to need you tomorrow to start tomorrow." So they were shooting it in Chicago, and I'm in LA. So they said, "You got to pack your bags and get ready. Giving you, they're booking your flight for tomorrow morning. So you got to pack right now and stand by. Pack your box. Start to pack your bags now. When you hang up this phone, and they're negotiating." They said, my agent said, "When the negotiation is finished, which they're on the phone with them right now with Daniel Stern's people." So when the negotiation is finished, either Daniel Stearns will be gone and you're on the plane, or Daniel Stearns will remain on at his salary, and forget it, Larry. They don't need you. So I said, "Okay," pack my bag. I'm waiting by the phone. An hour later, I get a phone call from my agent saying, "Daniel Stern caved. Forget it. You're not in the movie." I said, "Okay, fine. I mean, I understand this is what movies are." I wasn't mad or angry or anything like that. I was appreciated that if John Hughes wanted Daniel Stearns replaced, he thought of me. I thought that was a great compliment. I'm cool with it. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Okay, I hang up. About a month later, I get a call from my agent saying, "Hey, Home Alone called again." And I go, "Oh man, look, I'm not going to go through this. I was really high about getting, working with Joe Pesci, and they're going to pull the rug out from under me again. I don't even want to discuss this. What is it?" And then I said, "What is it?" So he said, "Well, it's different. It's not that at all. It's not Daniel Stern. Um, Here's what the deal is. You may not like this, Larry, but it's 3 lines. It's 2 lines, just 2 lines. It's a cop. And I said, "What are the 2 lines?" And he said, "Well, you want me to go and check on the house on your son and Rose Hyper on 2." I still remember the lines. I said, "Well, that's the part." He said, "Yeah, it's like a half a day. It's nothing." So I said, "No." So he said, "Well, they might want to talk to you again. I'll tell them that you said no, and okay, just don't go away." So he hung up. And about 3 hours later, I get a call from the producers of Home Alone. He said, "Look, Larry, this is the deal. We're in a lot of trouble. We believe," and this is the truth. This is what he told me. The producer of Home Alone, one of the producers. He said, "We believe that because we jerked you around about the Daniel Stern thing and had you wait by the phone, and you're going to be a co-star with Joe Pesci, and we jerked you around and it didn't happen, and we feel, and this is true, that the movie is cursed because of that." I go, "No, I didn't believe that. I mean, I didn't say this anything. I just remained silent, but my mind was going, what? Are they crazy? They believe the movie is cursed because of some judgment they made about
Yeah,
Christ?
like you like,
That's crazy, man.
yeah, like things happen on sets all the time.
Yeah. So I thought either he's jerking me around again, or I got to talk him out of this. This is a So I said, what do you? I know but it's only 2 lines. I mean, he said, yes, but here's the bind we're in. We've already cast this movie. Every part in the movie is cast. Daniel Stearns, everybody. It's all ready to go. We're shooting. We've shot 3 days worth. We've shot Daniel Stern's 3 days worth. Oh no, they've been shooting for a month already when this phone call came in. So he said, so we only have one part open. Here's our problem, Larry. We think it's because of you, of what we did to you. That's a given, Larry. You can't talk us out of that. The movie is, we're having a lot of problems on the set here in Chicago, and we believe it's because of what we did to you. So you can't talk us out of that. So please, you got to do this. So what we're willing to do to get you to, we understand it's 2 lines and it's below your pay scale. We understand all that. So here's what we're willing to give you if you will please do this for us, 2 lines, because it's the only part open and we can't fire anybody because of the SAG rules. Okay, so we'll fly you first class there and back. We'll pick you up in a limousine there and back to the airports, both ends. And we will have the set all set up for you when you get here so that you get out of the car, put on the costume, say your 2 lines, get back in the car. We'll fly you home first class limousine, and you can sleep in your own bed the same day, the same night. And for that, if you were willing to do that, we'll give you $10,000 cash. I said, let's do it, man. I'm there. You bet. I mean, and that's what happened. The next morning, I packed my bag. Next morning, a limo downstairs. I live in an apartment house. Everybody's standing around the limo. Who's going to get in a white limo, white stretch limo? You know, the people walking their dogs in the morning. And I come out, you know, and they didn't know who the hell I was. And I just get in the car and would zoom away. You know, probably still wondering what that was all about. And I got there, they shot the thing. And when I got there, this is a long story, but it's really all this happened. When I got there, yes, they had to, I got out of the car. There was a man waiting at the curb for me. You know, I got out of limo. He said, follow me. I followed into the sound stage. They told me okay, go in there. Your costume is in there. Get on stage. I saw everything was set up. There was the police thing with where I was going to sit. The camera was ready, lights, everything. Chris Columbus greeted me, said, you know, okay, get in there, change your costume. When I came out in costume, he said, okay, there's where you sit. We'll shoot you. We're all set to go. This is going to be really fast, maybe 1 or 2 takes, back in the car. All I said was, I forgot the whole thing. On the phone with the guy, you know, when he said $10,000, after I said, I said, yeah, great, let's do it. He said, I only have one question. And I said, what is it? And he said, what do you want as a prop? Because we're giving you all this money and we're doing this for you and you're saving our movie here. He said, you can have a prop, you know, whatever you want. I mean, you got to get in a cop costume, but whatever you want, whatever you want. I said, a prop? He goes, yeah, I'm a cop, right? Yeah. I want a glazed donut. Okay, so that's what I said. He said, a glazed donut? That's it? I go, that's it. Okay, you got it. And then he hung up. Okay, so I'm there. I get on, I'm in my costume. Chris Columbus says, okay, get over there and sit in that chair. We're ready to shoot. And I just said, where's my glazed donut? And he goes, like, it's not a joke. He goes, okay, bring it in. And what they did was they wheeled in a baker's wheeling tray. You know, those stacked trays they wheel around? Filled with glazed donuts, 300 glazed donuts on trays, on this one tray, wheeling tray. And the producers wheeled it in. And they're laughing. Ha ha. Hey, here's your one donut. You know, like it's a big joke. So I said, yeah, but I only wanted one. You know, trying to like, I'm not here for the joke. I want to do my 2 lines and go home. So I said to him, I said, I just wanted one. And he said, producer said, yeah, but we may have to do 2 takes. Like, oh boy, what a one-up thing. So I said, let's just do this and let me go home, okay? I said to Chris, not to him. So we got in the set, we did it. And now Here's the weird thing. We had to shoot that thing 11 times. That little scene, my 2 lines, 11 times, and I had to eat 11 donuts. Thank God they had the tray as a joke with 300. So I ate 11 donuts. Now, I didn't like eating 11 donuts, and I was thinking, but on the 9th time, and it wasn't my fault, it was mechanical stuff. One time, the lights above exploded and showered down because it was too hot. It was a sound stage, and it showered the entire set with glass. We had to shut down for half an hour while they cleaned up all the broken glass. But each time, one time the camera jiggled, another time the camera went off the dolly because it's a very slow tracking shot from me to Rose. Not 11 times, and each time, and I could see around the 9th or 10th time, I would look over, and not only Chris Columbus, but the 3 producers were like getting white with, oh my God, it's not working. You know, we got Larry here, we're paying him $10,000, and you know, the monster that's cursing this is not being appeased. You know, we're still, and I started to think, holy cow, it is cursed. We're doing it 10, 11 times, and it's not working. They can't get the scene in the can. And finally, on the 11th time, is the only time I went all the way through, and I heard the director, Chris, say, cut. The first time on the 11th take. So I go, okay. And then Chris Columbus, and then everybody laughed after Chris said cut. So everybody laughed. And I thought, uh-oh, that doesn't sound right, because if they laughed, that means I fucked up this time. Because they didn't laugh when the camera went off the dolly. Nobody thought, uh-oh, we are cursed. So everybody laughed. So Chris says, all right, come on, Larry. We're going to go and I want to show you this. And I said, no, if I fucked up, I don't want to watch it. Let's just do it again. Because I was getting really drugged with all this, you know, do it again and again, 11 times, man, for 2 lines. I just couldn't take it anymore. So he said, I don't want to do it. Let's do it again. He said, no, Larry, you got to watch this. I said, I don't want to watch it. I just want to do it again. So he said, watch this, please. So I went over. I said, okay. So I go over and I watch it, and everybody gathers around. They go, why? Just to see me screw up? So we're sitting around the TV set, the screen, actually. And I go, okay, and the scene is going, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, a piece of crumb from the donut falls on the phone, on the mouthpiece of the phone, and it sticks there. And they keep on going with the scene, and then you hear him call cut, and then everybody standing around the TV set is laughing, ah ha ha, at the donut thing. And I go, all right, let's just do it again, because that's a fuck up to me. So I said to Chris, I said, let's do it again, man. I just want to go home. And he said, you can go home now. That's going in the movie. I said, but it's a mistake. And Chris said, Larry, that mistake is known in the business as a money shot. It's going in the movie. It's really funny. He said, now, you know, do you want to stay and see the rest of us shoot the rest of the day? And I said, no, I want to go home. He said, okay, the car's still waiting out there. So they took me out. I got undressed, you know, I got out of my costume, hopped in the car. They drove me to the airport. And I not only did I sleep in my bed, I had dinner at home. So that's my Home Alone story, my Sergeant Balzac. Now, the capper to that is that's a famous movie. It's a really big, famous worldwide movie. And all the children who have seen that movie are now 40 and 50 years old and 30 years old. And all of them, when they see me on the street, they go, hey, man, how did you do that donut thing? Was it a green screen? They all know the donut. The donut falling on the phone in that movie is more famous than I am. It's just amazing. Well, and that long story of how it got there. It took 11 takes, and then 11 takes. So that's my Home Alone story. It's amazing. And I'm famous in that movie for that donut thing. You know, It's really weird. It blows my mind every time somebody comes up to me. Hey, you're that guy with the donut on the phone, right? Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Now, even though you know, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is made for an adult audience,
Yeah.
and Home Alone is made for a young audience.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I never thought of it. Yeah.
They
You're right.
do have some similarities, both external, like, you being in it, John Candy being in it, the Chicago setting, of course.
Oh,
But they also, and I think this is something that's a recurring theme in Hughes's most famous work, is that, they both balance comedy and heart well. Would you
oh
agree with
boy.
that?
Whoa, yeah. I mean, John Hughes can do that better than anybody. I don't know. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
mean,
think
he's
so.
yeah. I mean, you can't get funnier, more serious, heartfelt movies than those. I mean, that's why they're famous. That's why,
Mhm.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is coming out with an anniversary Blu-ray disc because
Mhm.
it's so good. But but then again, 16 Candles and um, Breakfast Club are amazing. I mean, do they have anniversary movies for them? I mean, they're just as
Mhm.
good. I mean, that's perfect. But John Hughes, it's John Hughes. It's not well, he directed and wrote those, right? Didn't
Mhm.
he direct both of those two? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so he's an amazing. I mean, his over his
Mhm.
that he writes and directs movies. He's amazing.
Yeah, and I think what else he is good at usually, at least at his best, is that sometimes he just takes sort of realistic scenarios and then just sort of runs with them, or sometimes he takes sort of wish fulfillment scenarios and sort of runs with them to great
Oh
comedic
yeah.
effect as well.
Well,
Like, I think that is the one thing, besides, the differing audiences between PTA, or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Home Alone, which is that Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is more just sort of taking what's sort of a more realistic scenario of what would happen if, like, your if like your trip kept getting canceled or postponed or whatever, and you also had another person who was obnoxious with you and then ran into that. While Home Alone is more sort of like sort of a wish fulfillment movie for kids, which is why I think it's also stuck of what would happen if your parents and your siblings you find annoying were gone for the day. You know, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And
And
then
then if
sort of,
somebody else was trying to get in, so it's a kid is a hero.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, and in trains, planes, and automobiles, I guess it's a buddy movie. So one is a hero movie and one's a buddy movie.
Yeah.
It's and the buddy movie thing is generally like in Unchained, or I don't know. There's a uh, where you can't get. Well, no, I guess in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, it's just like that one with the black guy and the white guy handcuffed together and they're escaping. Black
Hmm.
and white movie in the old days. Um, but it was they can't get away from each other. They hate each other, but they can't get away because they're locked and the police want them, so they have to help
Hmm.
each other escape. So, but it's the same with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I bet you he was using that movie
Hmm.
as a model because Steve Martin is chained to John Candy because things keep on getting canceled, and John Candy is the only guy who's going to get him out of there. So
Hmm.
it is exactly the same as that black and white movie with those two guys. trying to get on a train,
Mhm.
and one is chained and one is running.
Mhm.
I think that's right. So John Hughes, maybe
Mhm.
this is my conjecture, is he uses as models for his scripts really great old movies, that he can sort of twist around. Because yeah, I just thought of it. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a buddy movie like those old time movies, but he just puts a twist on it that's just genius. And Home Alone with the kid is the hero. It's a
Mhm.
little kid keeping away two fuck ups.
Yeah.
I just got to say one thing about uh, Steve Martin. I
Mhm.
just because it's one thing that sticks out in Home Alone, in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. There's just one scene. It's a very small scene. It's a couple of seconds. I think it's where he's at the airport and he's waiting for waiting. He's trying to catch a car or something. Anyway, Steve Martin. He's got his coat over his arm and his suitcase, and he throws the suitcase down. And he throws his coat down, and he has like an S fit. He has a sissy fit on the. Anyway, he's throwing it down and stamping. And you were talking about going over the top, and you don't
Mhm.
like it to go. Well, now there's the direction, the character, the writing is that he's got to go over the top. He's got to just get disgusted with
Mhm.
what's going on. And he's just got to, and I'm sure that John Hughes said, just go for it, Steve. Just just get fed fucking up. And even in doing that scene, as I watched it over and over, that one bit, Steve doesn't go over the top, going over the top, if you can
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying. He lets it all out. He just gets crazy, but it's real. It's not over the top. It's real.
Mhm.
Now, if you would tell that to John Candy, of course you'd go over the top. Adam Andler, Adam Sandler would go over the top.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how great I think Steve Martin is. I just had to say that. Okay, we can talk about
Yeah.
that.
No, but actually, I think that's another thing Hughes is good at is sort of picking the right cast.
Yeah,
Like, would Home Alone, you could have been Marv, Daniel Stern's character,
yeah.
but I don't know, and I don't mean to sound
No, no.
insensitive saying this, but would it have worked as well if it was you instead of Daniel
I
Stern?
think it would have worked as well, or maybe better. I think that Daniel Stearns, as an actor, as a comic actor, which is really what he wants to be, is in the John Candy
Mhm.
thing, and I tend towards the Steve Martin type of comedy where I try to go under and real. I
Mhm.
try to get the humor by going under, and Daniel tends to go where John Candy goes. He pushes it over. So I think Joe Pesci and I, but hey, man, this is just me bragging now. Yeah, Joe Pesci and I would have done it much better. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
am I going to say?
But then
Something wrong?
again, Joe Pesci's more over the top in that movie than he is in other movies because it's
Yeah, but he's an actor, and he convinces me. I buy
yeah.
it. I buy it.
Yeah, but then again, it is a more slapsticky movie than
Yeah,
Planes,
yeah, of
Trains, and
course.
Automobiles,
Well,
so
that's the thing about really good actors who are not comic actors, really good, serious actors. I've been noticing that is that when serious actors, really good serious actors, in front, when they do comic roles, they do it like you say. They do it seriously. They don't go over the top. They capture. They do it right. Is all I can
mhm,
say. Uh, and and comedy actors, character actors, tend to push it a little over the top. And every once in a while, a really good comic actor will be like I say, Adam Sandler, Steve Martin. There's a couple of others, Jerry Lewis. They nail it. I don't know why that is. I don't know. Like me, everybody says I'm a really good straight actor, but I
Mhm.
want to be a comic actor. I don't think about straight acting. So maybe that's why. Maybe I'm not trying, you know. So that's why I can be a good actor. I'm not trying to be real. I'm just trying to be not funny.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, as they also say, any good comedy needs a straight man because if everyone's a clown, then it just
Right.
gets annoying.
Yeah. Right. I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, a straight man sets up the funny man funnier.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which also might be why actually Home Alone is so popular with kids is that, the kid is basically the straight man
Yeah.
and it's the adults who are goofy,
Yeah. Yeah.
like Harry and Marv.
Yeah.
But I think that is a perfect place to end it. Thank you, Larry, for coming on to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was really interesting.
You're welcome. Anyway,
Oh,
that
listen.
was.
Well, let me before you sign it. I have a book that I'm selling. Can I
Oh,
just?
yes. I can't believe I almost forgot that. Yes, please, Larry, promote the
Well,
book.
okay. I got two books, and I'm writing a third one. The one is already out. It's on Amazon, and it's called The Loopholes Dossier. I don't like the cover. The cover is just brown and black. It's got a picture of me on it, but it's funny. It's a funny book. It's just 10 funny stories, 8 funny fables, and one just funny story, a funny memoir. Okay, that's one. The Loopholes Dossier, and another one that's coming out in September of 2023 is called That Guy, and That Guy, the book, it's a memoir about all the movies I made. It's just me talking, just like with you, talking about 40 of them, and it's really funny because it's a cautionary tale. I
Mhm,
don't tell the great stories. I tell the fuck up stories. The
mhm.
ones where things don't go according to plan. It's and that's why it's funny. It's just a funny look at Hollywood. Okay, so those are the two. That Guy coming out next year, and the Loopholes Dossier on Amazon. They're really funny books. Okay,
All
Michael,
right.
thank you very much, Kevin.
You're welcome. So that was I Helped Make That, and I'll see you all later.
Bye.
The sleigh bells are ringing and the carolers are singing while the air raid sirens blare.